Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So we have been talking about Ondo for a bit of time now on the channel, and it is because of what's actually happening around the tokenization side of things. Also, it's the adoption, right, from the institutional players. When we think about what's really going on right now in the world of finance, everything is changing significantly. Everything is moving on chain. We are starting to see, the biggest institutions now embracing tokenization, embracing the DeFi space, and actually partnering up with specific projects like Ondo to realize in the tokenized economy. Now, right now, when we think about how big some of these institutional players are, they have market caps in the trillions of dollars. They have assets under management in the trillions of dollars. And they are now working with a project like Ondo that has a fully diluted value of sub $10 billion. When we think about how crazy that is, it puts it into perspective on how much bigger this space will become. Now, on top of this, right, let's actually take a quick look at tokenization, because there was recently a report posted by Cointelegraph on the 12th, and it said, report, tokenization is revolutionizing asset classes by transforming everything from real estate to debt instruments and carbon credits. Debt tokenization, such as the European Investment Bank's 100 million euro digital bond, is bringing much needed liquidity to traditionally static assets. Tokenized funds like Franklin Templeton's on-chain US government money fund are changing the way transactions are processed and share ownership is managed. With over $50 billion in assets tokenized by the end of 2024, the trend is expected to skyrocket in 2025. Now, here we actually have the research side of things, where we do see $50 billion in terms of the actual market capitalization. Now, volume has been dropping since going all the way back to last March, but I am expecting everything to actually return in a big way once we do start to see the market bounce back, but also once we start to see the big institutional players pushing specific tokenization products to actually buy, sell, and trade a lot of these tokenized assets. Because again, the underlying market around tokenization is still in development. We're starting to see some big moves being made around tokenization use cases and solutions. And we also just got the green light on big banks to actually offer crypto-based services. So that's why I do think that the overall market capitalization, or token volume, if you will, around tokenization has been dropping a little bit. But the overall amount of assets tokenized is definitely set to skyrocket in a huge way this year. And also, we actually have over here a big update, and this is actually going back to March 14th. We have tokenized treasuries hit record $4.2 billion in terms of market cap as crypto correction fuels growth. And of course, one of the leading players, Ondo Finance. Now, securitized and super state gained the most among the larger issuers, while Hashnote's USYC declined. And we can actually see down here a few updates behind this. So Ondo is definitely a leader around this space in terms of tokenization, because again, they've been adopted by some of the biggest players. We actually have real world asset platform Ondo Finance's products. The short-term bond-backed OUSG and USDY tokens climbed to just shy of 1 billion combined, a 53% surge in market value over the past month. So this already represents almost 25% of that $4.2 billion market, which is wild. And again, we're kind of comparing this to BlackRock with Securitize and even Franklin Templeton, which again shows you what level Ondo actually is on right now. And if we think about that, right, we can actually see the numbers behind Ondo, almost $600 million in TVL with the Ondo US dollar yield. And then we also have the additional one, which is the OUSG, which is the Ondo short-term US government bond fund as well, which has about $409 million tied to it. So in total, we're almost at, roughly, or actually, we're over $1 billion here, which is kind of crazy when we think about US Treasuries, because even over here, US Treasuries is sitting at about 4.62 billion. Ondo is securing over $1 billion of that. Securitize is number one with almost $1.3 billion, but you got to remember what name is behind Securitize: BlackRock. And we also know that BlackRock is behind Ondo as well, but the RWA count on Ondo is already at 12. Guys, Ondo's been absolutely killing it. This is why I think everyone should be paying attention to Ondo, because they are becoming a tokenized or a tokenization blue chip, or they are, in my opinion, actually. And also over here, we have tokenization is the future of finance. Again, this is coming from a previous, Congressman, Patrick McHenry, at the Ondo Summit. BlackRock is making moves. The big players are all in. RWA tokens are next in line to explode. And this got posted on March 5th. Check it out.
On Treasuries market, it's great, easy example to understand. The faster we get to a technology solution, it's going to be better for our liquidity position for a massively indebted United States. There's like a broader imperative here, right? So the evolution there of TradFi using these techniques is the easiest use case to see that can be done in small regulatory changes. That's the reason why BlackRock's in action. That's the reason why all these large financial players are clearly going to be in the action here of using better software to do what they currently do.
And, he is 100% correct here. Like, when we think about what's really going on, yeah, all the big players are lining up. All of the big players are here now looking into tokenization. They've actually, told us exactly what's going on. They said that tokenization is the future. They said that they are going to start tokenizing in a big way. They said that everything of value will essentially be on-chain. It makes a lot of sense. So when you actually think about that, right, all you have to really do is pay attention to what the big players and the big money are actually doing and what they're telling us, and focus on it, study it, learn it, understand what are the blue chips that are behind this. Ondo is one of them. So when we think about the future for Ondo, it's extremely significant. And this is happening now, right? Like, tokenization is no longer like just a buzzword. No, we could see the money on chain. There's billions of dollars now on chain because of tokenization. And it's not just going to stop where we're at now. No, it's going to grow significantly over the next, few months, over the next year, the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Like, we have yet to hit that $1 trillion mark of bringing money on chain. There will be trillions, hundreds of trillions on chain eventually. They're saying about 16 trillion by 2030, then tokenization custody being worth about 10 trillion by 2030. I mean, this is not going to be a market that slows down. Now, on top of this, right, Ondo put out a great post recently on the 11th, and this highlighted some of the moves made by the Ondo team recently. So amidst the shuffle of the Ondo Summit, you might have missed an important chain expansion for tokenized US Treasuries. Ondo is bringing yield-bearing assets to the Stellar Org network, a leading payments ecosystem. With a keen focus on the global south, Stellar has made remarkable progress in bringing blockchain to the unbanked. With over 425,000 stablecoin users and $32 billion in payment volume in 2024, the Stellar network has become the go-to hub for global payments, cross-border remittances, and payroll. By tapping into partnerships with the likes of MoneyGram, a global payments off-ramp, Lobster, and Decaf, Stellar enables small businesses and unbanked communities to access global finance. Today, the $250 million market cap of stablecoins on Stellar powers payments, treasury management, and corporate payouts, but they can do even more. And this is something that I want to talk about here, because when we think about what's going on, okay, it's not just about Ondo. Ondo is working with some of the biggest names in the space, Stellar with XLM, Ripple with XRP. And we even have, with Ondo's tokenized treasuries coming to these cash balances, Stellar can become the go-to hub for monetizing balance sheets, hedging inflation, and powering on-chain savings. So Ondo is actually providing a lot more utility and a much bigger spotlight for these additional players in the space like Stellar, like Ripple with XRP. I think everyone needs to be, looking into this and studying it and understanding it, because we're not just going to stop here, right? This is a multi-chain world. The biggest utility projects, I've talked about XRP many times over on this channel because of the utility tied to it. I will continue to talk about, these utility-based projects, because the future is going to be tokenization, right? Utility is going to be the driver around the tokenization markets. Everything around us will be automated on-chain and tokenized on-chain. Real estate, you're going to be able to buy and sell and borrow against a house on-chain. This is why I think that crypto is going to be 100 times bigger than what it is now, because of the overall efficient and intricate use cases locked away behind tokenization and DLT, the underlying actual networks in the space, and what they have to offer, traditional finance and traditional financial markets. But on top of this, right, think about how ahead Ondo actually is. Like, they've been putting a ton of work into expanding their overall platform, their overall network, and the reach of their network. Going back to February, they recently partnered up with Assetera to bring institutional grade treasury products to Europe's first regulated marketplace for secondary RWA trading. And this is all through Assetera. When we think about institutional adoption, it's going to be through these big regulated players like Assetera, because this is all regulated, it's fully compliant, and these are crucial steps. These are crucial steps in making sure that we do get that first trillion. And then from that first trillion, we will expand rapidly. This is where it all begins. This is also why we look at partnerships that Ripple has to bring tokenization to the XRP ledger. Like, for an example, Archix or Zonix. Like, those are regulated and compliant platforms. They are the big drivers. And institutional grade DeFi happens through these platforms. And that's combined with tokenization. Like, these are tokenization platforms. They're creating marketplaces for tokenization or tokenized assets, in this case, to be traded, bought and sold, borrowed against. You need that underlying marketplace. So these are those regulated marketplaces that will have RWA trading tied back to it. Now, on top of that, right, it's very similar to what happened with the XRPL, because Ondo was bringing tokenized US treasuries to the XRP ledger the same exact way that they did with Stellar. And I did put a spotlight on both of these, because if we're thinking about everything happening here, the blue chips are working together. The blue chips are working together in a multi-chain fashion to bring tokenization to scale, because we need it to scale from the billions to trillions in order to actually, hit that pivotal moment where everything accelerates in a big way. Now, almost all of this stuff is tied also back to the big players like BlackRock. When we go back over here to what Patrick McHenry is saying, yeah, BlackRock is making moves. BlackRock is making moves with Ondo. Don't forget that Ondo initially, back in 2024, worked with BlackRock to actually move $95 million to BlackRock's tokenized fund for instant settlements for its T-bill token. And even with, and by the way, this is with OUSG, even with the announcement with XRP and the XRPL, all right, this OUSG stablecoin initiative, well, it's not actually, it's a treasury, US Treasury initiative, is backed by BlackRock's USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund. Now, this can be minted and redeemed at any time using RLUSD. And what's even crazier is that if we go over here, remember some of the names tied back to Ripple, like Craig Phillips, right? He joined the board of directors at Ripple. He was one of the former managing directors at BlackRock, and also former Treasury Department counselor. So again, it's very interesting on how this entire, world of digital assets and tokenization, and we think about this technology and how big it will be. It's funny how this entire ecosystem is tied back to some of the big names like BlackRock, and they're now here telling us exactly what's happening, yet so many people are oblivious to what size this market will really kind of become. Like right now, Ondo, sub 10 billion in fully diluted value, market cap of crypto itself, 2.73 trillion. We are just scratching the surface of where we're headed. This is why I think everyone needs to pay attention to what's really going on behind these big players like Ondo, the names that they're actually working with, the connections that they actually have, and the expansion, right, that's been happening over the last couple months. I mean, 2025 has been a historical year so far for Ondo, and we're just in the first quarter. The first quarter is just now coming to an end. So Ondo is going to be an absolute giant. Everyone needs to be looking into Ondo if you're not already. And it is because of, what's really going on here. The adoption of Ondo is accelerating. The moves around Ondo is happening so fast that, if you really blink, you'll miss a lot. Just take 2025 for an example. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.